Well, Joel Fitzgibbon is the opposition's agriculture spokesman. He's with us live from Canberra. Joel Fitzgibbon, Tony Abbott says Australia has done very well with these free trade agreements. Would you agree?
Well, Tony, we do try to take a bipartisan view of these things. This is Team Australia negotiating with the rest of the world. But as the day has gone on, I've found it increasingly difficult to defend this deal. I'm yet to see an agricultural peak body grip give this agreement with Japan the tick of approval.
But there are elements within agriculture that have done okay, aren't there?
True. Beef, for example, will be an improvement. But you've got to realise that we'll go from, so if you're rounding these things up, 30% tariff to just less than, almost a 40% tariff to just less than 20% over a 15 to 18 year period. That's incremental and a long way off. And of course, unlike many of these international agreements, there is no plan to go to zero on beef. So if anyone is a winner, it's beef, but the beef industry has made it quite clear they are very disappointed with this agreement.
But do you think a Labor government would have done any better, given the consideration that these things have dragged on for years anyway?
Well, that's true, Tony. These things can be protracted. They are difficult negotiations, and again, from opposition, we try not to fire pot shots. We let the government do their best, but it's pretty hard not to get the feeling that it's now 1-1 between the Liberal Party and the National Party. The National Party had a win on GrainCorp, unfortunately, and the Liberal Party's had a big win on this one. I think the National Party members, and one of them has been quite outspoken today, in George Christensen, will be very, very disappointed by this deal.
If I can step away from that politic from the moment, why do you think there are losers in this? Is it more to do with the intransigence of Japan and Korea rather than failures by Australia's negotiators?
Well, like Australia, Japan, South Korea, the Chinese all try to get the best deal for their local economies and those who make up those economies. And protectionism, unfortunately, is alive and well right around the world. That's why we've been so long trying to get a Doha round. So we fight for our interests and they fight for theirs, and sometimes there are trade-offs to get at least part of the outcome you're looking for. And it's pretty clear to me that Tony Abbott, for whatever reason, has decided to sort of push agriculture aside as a priority in order to get some other arrangements in place.
Does it have any sort of foreboding for future free trade negotiations with China?
Well, the precedents are concerning. I mean, a free trade agreement that doesn't eventually take you to zero is I think, a very bad precedent.
But is that really realistic, getting down to zero, at least in the short term?
Well, to the government's credit, the South Korean arrangement has arrangements in place that eventually take us to zero. Whether it was realistic in the end with Japan is a matter for those who were inside the room, but I know that there were very high expectations in the beef industry that they do much better than what they've done today.
Now, Warren Truss is quoted as saying there has to be an element of give and take when it comes to these negotiations, but you're saying that the coalition, the National Party, is going to be deeply disappointed by this.
Well, give and take, yes. And look, you know, I should stress that we're trying to keep our powder dry. We haven't seen all the detail of this agreement. There are undoubtedly some positive aspects here, but the give has been given by the agricultural sector so that the government could take a win in other areas. And I think as the days go by, over the course of the next few days, it'll become more clear who were the winners at the expense of the agriculture sector.
James Packer, who's been travelling with the Prime Minister on this Asian trip, has said that Kevin Rudd took Australia's relations with Asia back 5 years. What do you have to say to that?
Well, like any of our key business leaders, I've got enormous respect for James Packer, but I was really surprised to see those comments. I think out there in the marketplace, people, whatever they might have thought of Kevin in various policy areas, saw him as someone very, very competent in foreign affairs, saw him as someone who knows Asia better than anyone, and therefore someone who made very good strides in Asia. And I think Julia Gillard, to her credit, had a very, very successful trip to China towards the end of her term as Prime Minister. So I don't know what James Packer is going on about, to be frank with you.
You don't know why he would make those comments now?
Oh, I suspect James Packer is closer to the Liberal Party than he is to the Labor Party. And he is on the trip with the Prime Minister, and there would be some expectations that people who are on that trip play a positive role and make a contribution towards the success of the trip. And the spin from the government's been pretty good on this FTA, and, you know, I don't deny them that. I give them credit for that. But I think, again, as the days go by, more and more information will drip out about how inadequate this agreement might be. And of course, I think the fact that the Prime Minister's very quickly moved back to South Korea, a deal that was struck many weeks ago, is an indication that over the next few days he'd rather be talking about South Korea than he would about Japan.
We'll have to wait and see. Opposition Agriculture spokesman Joel Fitzgibbon, thanks for joining us on Afternoons.
That's a pleasure, Tony.